Good morning, everybody. I'm Robert Scheer, and this is your 6 AM Wake Up. There's an important principle in recovery that says honesty without compassion is brutality. Complete and total honesty is so recommended that it's important that it be tempered by this concept that honesty without compassion is brutality. Being direct and hurtful is not the goal. I bring that up here because we're going to talk about the final portion of step 9. One more time, the step says we made direct amends to such people. The such is referring to the people on your 8th step list, by the way. To such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. This concept is really important because a lot of times people are really zealous with this 9th step. They're especially zealous if they're doing it early in recovery, when frankly their judgment can be colored and a little bit missing when it comes to a lot of these kinds of issues. In their zealousness for their new way of life, honesty, amends, abstinence, things like that, you don't want to run out and blunder and do more harm. So that's really important. You're not doing this to alleviate your own guilt, and in doing so, you're hurting somebody else. So you always have to think about who's benefiting from the amends, and you always have to check your motivation. And this matters a lot because recovery teaches discernment, and many of us think we did a lot of harm because we had a very self-absorbed point of view of the world. And so we thought everything we did was the center and focal point. And so we need to rush out and apologize for things we did when other people really weren't affected or didn't even notice. So working with your sponsor on all of these step 9 amends is really important. Now, for those of you obviously not in 12-step recovery programs and wanting to make amends, it's just a good idea to check yourself with somebody else. The classic example that's often mentioned is somebody had an affair. They had an affair 30 years ago when they were in active addiction, and they feel the need to make amends by telling their wife. And in the meantime, they've had a very healthy relationship. He's been completely monogamous. They've got a family and all those kinds of things. And is it really going to be helpful to his wife to hear about this indiscretion many years ago? So it's important to get some guidance on this topic. And the last area is yourself. Are you required to make amends even if it's self-destructive? And the answer is you got to think it through and you got to talk to others. It's very easy to let this concept of self-destruction be a way that you don't make amends and you don't do restitution, because after all, paying back a debt or money that you stole can be painful and expensive. And so you might say that it's self-destructive to do that. That's really not what we're saying here. But what we are saying is, if let's say you committed a felony many years ago, you weren't caught, and now you want to rush to the court system to say what you did is wrong, that's probably not a good idea and not going to be helpful to anybody. So judgment, discernment, and practicing the idea of sharing and talking with others is really valuable as you complete this step 9. Thanks for listening to my thoughts for the day.